seeing the firefighters, I feel like this is the first time we've actually seen firefighters on the ground since we've been covering this.
It's just one neighborhood after the other that has.
And you know what? So
first time we've seen firefighters on the ground. Look, there's some right there. That's the first time we've seen them.
They're safely. Sure. Just, you know, a lot of this, and now we're seeing the firefighters. I feel like this is the first time we've actually seen firefighters on the ground since we've been covering this. We jumped on here 2 hours ago. So to their credit, there are so many fires happening in the surrounding areas, and also some of that topography initially was like a tough area for them to get into. But Sky 5's signal is very spotty today, mainly also too maybe with the winds and the smoke affecting that. As Cricket mentioned,
I believe those are all houses in a row. That's why all that line of flames is right there. Those are all houses right next to one another.
Sometimes that is something happens there, right? So like one home can catch on fire and then the wind can pick it up and just everyone's out of there. But typically, sometimes that is something happens there with embers, right? So like one home can catch on fire and then the wind can pick it up and just pop it along. But just so sad to see, and just
literally all of those homes that we just saw that were engulfed, that is result of embers. That's it. Period. Those houses.
They've all done a good job of brush clearance.
They, of course.
On concrete. Homes that we just saw that were.
That's it, period. All of those homes that are on fire, that's a result of embers. That's it, period.
That is the result of embers. That's it, period. Those houses.
They've all done a good job of brush clearance.
They, of course, and they're on concrete. So, you know, some of that concrete slabs, maybe a half of an acre, some of those properties are quite large. And that does not stop those embers or that flammage from continuing to make its way into some of those eaves. That's why, again, that's important too, is to really clean the gutters around your home, up on the roofs, the eaves that are in your house during, you know, the entire year. We get winds and we get rain and we get a lot of things going on, and some stuff that you don't even know that's stuck.
What about the cars? The cars don't have eaves for an ember to make its way into. But they're just as burning just as well. They have nothing exposed but metal and glass. I feel like I'm talking to the newcomers. The only people watching this shit are the people that have already seen this 100 times. So I'll stop. Yes, it's a plasma fire. All over Ventura, that's all plasma fire.
Up in your gutters or your eaves, and it's important to take a look around your home a couple times a year and clean things out so that this doesn't happen. But this is almost impossible to stop what we're taking a look at again. This is just heartbreaking. It's embers that are flying, and we've heard from fire authorities during the morning, some of these embers can fly through the atmosphere anywhere from a mile to up to 3 miles in distance. So that happens with the winds, and these winds are not calming down. They are ferocious, gusts of up to 65, 67, 68 miles per hour. And you can see the smoke. It's just horizontal.
It's not even going up.
No.
And look at those palm trees.
Yeah, it's laying flat. Those palms are so strong. And you could see them just swaying so viciously. And there you go. That's the result of the embers. They just move around and they get caught in an eave, in a gutter. And that, unfortunately, is the end of that.
These structures and.
Yeah, that's the result of these embers. He's repeated embers enough times now that if he says embers a few more times and just says embers again and then repeats embers some more, we can explain why all these houses are going up when they're sitting on a half acre of cement, because, you know, the embers and the eaves. Repeat the eaves a couple more times too, along with the embers.
Firefighters are doing their very, very best. And you can see some of the engines on the streets, but again, this is about also saving your life and saving lives in general. So we cannot have our firefighters putting themselves in danger either.
And you see, look at that home right there. I mean, it is completely
total loss.
To the ground, total loss. And you know, we got to.
I just want to say thank you to these Operation Mockingbird intelligence agents posing as news broadcasters, because the worst thing that could happen right now is for the people of California to recognize what's actually happening. So keep telling them embers, keep giving them the prosaic explanations, as if this is all just business as usual and there's nothing going on here other than embers and normal fire. Because if people figured out what's going on, this is the point at which we could see a flashpoint. If people figure out plasma fire and suddenly this understanding goes viral and everyone figures out there's a major electricity component to these fires, because not a single one of those embers landed on any of the bush that they're calling a brush fire, and there's plenty of dry brush all around, so if it was embers, then that brush would be just as easily, if not 100 times more flammable than the house or the car. If the people of California figured that out, the whole place comes unraveled. Mad Max ensues. So thank you to the disinformation agents for pacifying the livestock of the human cattle and keeping them from stampeding by repeating embers and whatever other nonsense pacifies those soft-minded people.
Here in California with
Home insurance. In some of these areas, I mean, some insurance companies are leaving California. They're refusing to give people policies because of what they see going on in situations like this. So you got to wonder. I mean, these folks, maybe they'll be able to rebuild, but are they going to be able to insure the property if they do rebuild?
Yeah, and some of these properties that we're trying to insure, they're not even in fire-prone areas. I mean, my family, my parents live in Encino, and there's no wildfires that happen near Ventura Boulevard in the White Oak area, but they cannot get fire insurance. They are not covered right now. It's almost impossible to get that coverage.
It's so sad to see this. It's just devastating. And I think our understanding was that they closed off some of those roads once the fires happened up there. So I'm assuming a lot of residents weren't able to go back to their home. Hopefully neighbors were able to go into the different homes. That's the importance, I think, too, in terms of earthquakes and fires, is to know your neighbors.
Yes.
And so if you are a way that you can call your neighbor and say, hey, the hidden key is blah, 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 or give them a key, or just so they can go in and either help with an elderly person or possibly the animals that are in the home.
But I must say again, this situation is a unicorn.
Yes.
We're looking at winds again, gusting up to almost hurricane strength winds.
Yeah.
And you don't want to call your neighbor and say, but I must say again, this situation is a unicorn.
Yes.
So they were just talking about how the insurance companies have pulled out because of the repetitive pattern of these fires, and then 2 seconds later, he's saying this is a unicorn. A once-in-a-lifetime thing that no one's ever even seen before and no one believes existed, and it was just so random that it'll never happen again. It's like a unicorn. You see it once in a billion lifetimes. While in the same breath, telling you insurance companies won't insure these homes anymore because of the repetitive pattern that I've been displaying on my channel for the last 7 summers in a row. Unicorn.
Again,
so they can go in and either help with an elderly person or possibly the animals that are in the home.
But I must say again, this situation is a unicorn.
Yes.
We're looking at winds again, gusting up to almost hurricane strength winds.
Yeah.
And you don't want to call your neighbor and say, hey, can you go get this thing? Because you don't want to put them in danger.
Yeah.
These winds are shifting
so rapidly, it's just dangerous.
Those winds are called ionic winds or electric wind, and they accompany this plasma fire phenomenon on a regular basis.
The mountain fire in Moore Park is forcing